Welcome to That American Football Show, powered by EP Sports. EP Sports is one of the top suppliers in the UK for all your NFL merchandise. Check them out today at epsports.co.uk. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment if you do like our stuff. It really does help us out. But the NFL is back. Tonight, Craig, Joe, and I are going to talk about the games to come for the Week 1 kickoff weekend. Our rookies to look out for, players to look out for, and our predictions for. I've labelled it the Taft, That American Football Trophy.
Okay. Well, it was the Hodor Trophy, wasn't it?
Oh, is it called the Hodor Trophy? Okay.
But we can, if you want to rename it.
And the keys to victory for each team and how those guys are going to win. We have got some news, but I've tried to keep it very recent. I don't want to be doing the whole off season, which we haven't covered. So very recently, we learned Justice Hill for the Ravens tore his ACL.
Yeah,
that's
another
your
one.
First string and your third string out now. So the Ravens have signed an old nemesis.
Yeah, Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, everyone thinks. I think he's got a bit of an unfair rep of being washed now because he went to the Chiefs on a bit of a glory run. But because he was so deep down on the depth chart, he was shit. And then obviously at the Jets, he was with Adam Gase. But before that, he was one of the top running backs.
I'm hoping because we're a heavy running team, it'll suit him and he'll be able to sort of get in the flow of things. I'm hoping that because it's a division he's a bit more familiar with, that might help him out a little bit. But I mean, in all honesty, I don't really know what to expect.
I think he'll be all right. I do. I think he'll be just fine. I'm assuming Gus Edwards is going to be running back one. I
don't think so. Because Le'Veon Bell's a good pass catcher. Like he's going to be really good out the backfield for Lamar. I feel like I genuinely think that's going to work because it's two very agile, nimble running backs. Because Le'Veon Bell's that kind of patient, waits for his gap and then just hits it.
Yeah, he could be good fantasy-wise as well. I think he could be a
real... George picked him up, the little rat.
Yeah, of course he did. Every league I went into, and I think I was late by like half an hour on every single one. Drives me mad.
But other little bit of news came out today. The Saints have traded for cornerback Bradley Roby from the Texans. It was for a third-round pick. That is the Texans' cornerback one, so... Texans are just going all in for the tank. But the Saints upgrade their defense on, I think, a weaker part of their secondary, a weaker part of their defense, at least.
Yeah. It's a decent pickup. They got to go up against Tom Brady again this year, so they got to try and find sort of against that Bucs offense that they're going to be going up against twice. They've got to sort something out.
And speaking of the Bucs offense, we can roll on into our predictions. So for new listeners who weren't with us last time, we do have a competition between us all where we predict the score difference in each game, and we get 1 point for the right team. Is it 3 points with the right score?
Yep.
And then you can get your bonus point with the bold prediction.
Yeah, is it bonus 3 points or bonus 1 point? I think it might be 3.
It might be 3, you're right.
Might have to revisit the rules.
Well, we'll rewatch an old episode and figure that out. And it is for the honour of winning the Hodor Trophy, which Joe can display for us, which he won last year. Crafted by me and Craig's good friend from uni, Hodor, who made it for us. And you also win a jersey. Joe's wearing his winner's jersey from last year. Signed guard. Is it signed?
Yep, it is. I probably should be wearing it, but there you go.
Signed Garden Minshew jersey. Eagles legend. And this year,
he called the fans nice, didn't he? Like, just sign them up and keep them there forever. Said that they were like the nicest, loveliest people and everything.
There must have been some horrible people down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Florida man. But yeah, I think we're playing for. Is it the Colts punter Rigoberto Sanchez we're playing for?
It was Blankenship, wasn't it?
Blankenship.
That was the thought, but with the sourcing a jersey of his is finding a difficult task at the moment. So it may change to someone else, but it's open. We're open to suggestions.
Yeah, if you have a good player, we like the unloved players, the maybe a bit memey players. So send them our way. We could get that guy on the Saints who just loves to box people. But yeah, shall we? Chauncey Gardner something or other.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, let's fly into the first game. Thursday night, they're playing tonight. So I will get this preview out beforehand. I will. Cowboys at Buccaneers, Joe.
Yep. So, of course, as tradition, the Super Bowl champions of last year play the first game at home. So they're playing the Cowboys tonight, which is, as I say, Super Bowl winners against one of the bigger name teams in the NFL, which is going to be good. The Cowboys this time around. So Dak Prescott is back, and he wasn't the only one that was banged up last season. Blake Jarwin is back from an ACL tear that took him out of pretty much all of last year. Tyron Smith is back, and Lyle Collins is back. So there's some big players back for the Cowboys. I think
Lyle Collins has COVID.
Didn't get that bit. Ignore the Lyle Collins part. He's got corona, unfortunately. But anyway, so they've got important players back regardless. Dak being back is obviously massive. They went up this offseason and did their best to make their defense better because they're so offense heavy. Dan Quinn's come in now and is the defensive coordinator. And they made 6 straight selections on defense, including first-round pick Micah Parsons, who is hopefully to make an immediate impact. He's the rookie that you've got to look out there for the Cowboys. And he's going to be starting linebacker alongside Van Der Esch. So 2 decent players in there. And yeah, they want to be a dynamic duo, and hopefully the Cowboys will get that out of them. The Buccaneers, what more can you say? Virtually the same team as last year. They got Tom Brady, 44 years old now. Is he too old? Who knows?
Is he going to hit the cliff?
Yeah, we don't know. Probably not, because he's still eating grass. With the Buccaneers, they're going to be exciting. There's not much more I can say on them because not much has changed. It's just their defense is solid. I was watching NBC's Pro Football Talk, and they went, there is not a single group of the Cowboys that you would take over any groups of the Bucs. You go like
wide receivers, you could definitely argue.
You could argue
CeeDee Lamb over Mike Evans and
Chris Godwin. It's close. That is the only one where you can have an argument, I think.
Okay.
But you look everywhere else on the pitch, and obviously every part of the defense you're taking the Bucs. Wide receivers is tough. Running backs. What did you say?
Quarterback
is iffy, but you got the 7-time Super Bowl winning, legend there. I think I rate Dak Prescott highly, but I think you take Tom Brady just because of experience. But yeah, that's basically how each team maps up. I'm only going to make it quick because we have got a lot of games to get through. I think the Bucs are going to win by a lot tonight. I've got them winning by 14.
Yeah, 14. I agree. They're too good. Craig?
Sorry. Right, you're going to have to edit that out. I forgot we did this bit, so I wasn't all prepared. I have got Bucs by 11.
Bucs by 11. And Tim has got Bucs by 8. We should mention Tim's on holiday, so enjoy
quite important.
Okay, yeah, I think we all agree Cowboys defense just isn't going to hold them.
No, it could be quite a tear up. I'm expecting at least 35 points, I think, from the Bucs.
Yeah, it's going to be. I can't wait. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. I'm recording and up early.
I think I might have a nap after this and see if I can make it. Craig, you've got the next game, Seahawks at the Colts.
Yeah, so the pressure's going to be on both these teams, I think, all season, because they're both in some pretty competitive divisions. That being said, this matchup between both these playoff teams should be fun regardless. Seattle hasn't finished worse than second in its division in the past 9 years, which was a stat that quite surprised me. Russell Wilson, still the offensive leader on that team, and the Seahawks have actually won more when he's threw the ball less and sort of just scrambled and made plays of recent times than rather just relying on his arm. Seattle's pass defense could stand to improve a bit. After last year, it finished 31st in opponent yards per game, but it was 5th on run defense, even though it did betray them in the playoffs. That key matchup could really determine the outcome of this game. I think Jonathan Taylor became quite a focus of that offense towards the back end of 2020. He averaged 21 carries, 140 yards, 6.7 yards per carry, and 7 touchdowns. Overall, Colts backfield still pretty good, but I don't think it'll matter if the Seattle's strong run D takes that away from them. Colts ranked top 10 in scoring on both sides of the ball last year, even though it's still to be seen whether Carson Wentz really fits into that team after Phillip Rivers being in there last season. So the Seahawks, they've really bolstered their offensive line with the addition of the guy, Gabe Jackson. They've also have a new offensive coordinator in the former Rams passing game coordinator, Shane Waldron, who is hoping to sort of make this offense play a lot faster, a lot faster paced than they did last season. It's an offense that got a bit stale, I think, under Schottenheimer, and it should, I hope anyway, and I think it get off to quite a strong start against the Colts. With the Colts ready to sort of just air it out with Wentz, Seattle promises to just be as deadly with their, like I said, their new coordinator and their group of receivers that they've got there at the moment, and the former Metcalf, Lockett, and the new rookie Dwayne Eskridge, I think is how you pronounce it. Anyway, I've got Seahawks taking this one by 7.
Yeah, it feels like it could be close, but I also just feel like the Seahawks can take this quite easily.
Yeah, the Seahawks like to start the season fairly well as well, which is kind of which is why I've got the Hawks winning by 6, because I think you're right.
By 8. Yeah, and Tim's got the Seahawks by 3, so we're all on board. But my look on the Colts has gone up a little bit since Nelson and Wentz have been confirmed to start for week 1.
Definitely, and I think the key battle in this game will be whether that defense can get through that offensive line and sort of really put the pressure on Wentz, so he doesn't have too much time to sort of sit there and get throwing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They do have a really good offensive line. I quite like the Seahawks defense. I like watching Bobby Wagner. He's one of my favorite players to watch. I think he's a great player.
I've just lost KJ Wright to the Raiders, though.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially with all of the new dynamic on the offense with Wilson.
Okay. Moving on to my next game, which is the mighty Eagles against the Dirty Birds, the Falcons. So 2 new head coaches, Arthur Smith against Nick Sirianni. So it's very much a case of neither team really has any film on each other, bit of a feel out and adapt as you go. Both have just drafted a very exciting new offensive rookie. We've got Kyle Pitts of the Falcons, who's the highest drafted tight end since the Super Bowl era, I believe, which is nuts. And obviously Devontae Smith, the current Heisman winner. One has a former MVP throwing to him in Matt Ryan. The other one has got a question mark as a quarterback, Jalen Hurts. No one really knows how it's going to be on the field in a game, considering he's not played this preseason. Both teams have shed some players and talent and brought in a couple of new faces. So it's going to be both teams are looking to make their statement, especially the head coaches, on what their team is. Key battle I've got here is the Falcons O-line against the Eagles D-line. Matt Ryan can't do much if he's getting pressured left, right, and center. Eagles have improved on their D-line, and they were already a top 3 D-line last year. And they've got the injured O-line already on the Falcons. I believe their starting guard is out, so it's a rookie against Fletcher Cox, which I will look forward to watching. I'm not sure Falcons will. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a baptism by fire there. Obviously, I'm a bit of a homer for the Eagles. I've tried to be logical because I want to win this year. I'm not going with my heart. But typically, we always play the Falcons really, really close. They're always horrendous games to watch because I'd get very stressed. So I've got us winning this by 2.
Surprisingly, after how much they burnt me last season, I've gone Eagles by 7. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the Falcons this season. So much has changed on that offense in particular. Other than Ridley, I mean, they've got Hurst, he's still good, and then they've got Kyle Pitts, obviously, like he's tipped to do well, but you're talking about people that we haven't really seen on the field yet.
Yeah, and neither team's really given away its offensive scheme as well. So no one has any idea what this game's going to look like, really.
So I'm banking on that Eagles D-line to put enough pressure on, what's his face? Sorry, Matt Ryan. To sort of to bail that Eagles secondary out a little bit and shut down that offense. Plus, it's a bit less banged up than it was last season, so I'm hoping that secondary will be better for you.
I saw that injury report with 4 names on it. One of them was just like managing his knee, so it wasn't actually a problem. And like all the Eagles fans are going nuts. It's like it's the smallest that injury report has been in years.
Let's see how that looks next week.
Yeah, mate, we're going in with a healthy O-line like for the first time in 3 years. It's so good. Okay. What are your scores, guys?
I've gone for the Falcons. Sorry, Adam. I'm not really high on either of these teams. So for me, it's a bit of a kind of a toss-up, but I just believe in Matt Ryan, and that's pretty much. I'm believing that Ryan to Ridley and or Russell Gage, and then Kyle Pitts. That I'm just going with that Atlanta offense, and that's what I think is going to push him over the line.
And Tim's agreeing with you there. He's got the Dirty Birds winning by 4.
50-50 split.
Oh, and so the game begins. Joe, your next game, a slightly less exciting game, or more. Yeah, depending on how you look at it.
That is my first point. Jags at Texans. I put not going to be the game of highest quality. So Trevor Lawrence's first NFL regular season game, and it couldn't be an easier one, really. The only thing that could probably be easier if they were playing this game at home, but they are going to the NRG. So Jaguars this year, they're going to be exciting. As I say, it's a nice, easy game for them to start off. You've got Trevor Lawrence in there. Unfortunately for them, Etienne did pick up an injury at the beginning. I believe he's out for the season.
Frank injury, out for the season.
Yeah, which is a shame. But fortunately for them, they've got Robinson still at running back, who I believe is going to have a monster year. I just got that feeling that this is going to be a 1,000+ yard year for him. So the Jags with Urban Meyer as head coach, we're going to see what they can do. And to say Trevor Lawrence is that all the eyes are going to be on him. That is all that the cameras are going to be showing. That's all the hype's about. And hopefully we get to see, does he keep his regular season record of being undefeated up? Maybe. Texans, obviously due to legal things going on, Deshaun Watson is not going to be there. Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting, which, I mean, the Texans, their best position is quarterback because of Deshaun Watson, and now they don't have Deshaun Watson. They haven't really got any good areas. I want to be positive about this Texans team, but it is really tough. They haven't really got any standout rookies because they gave away all their first round picks.
But they've got Laramie Tunsil.
But they have got Laramie Tunsil, and that's one to look out for. But yeah, short and sweet, this one. It's just going to be interesting to see how it happens, and it's going to be interesting to see how bad the Texans are. Really think that for some reason they could somehow shithouse their way to win, but I don't think they will. I have got the Jags to win. I've got them to win them quite close. I've got Jags by 3.
Great.
I've gone Jags by 7. Jags offense, they do have some weapons on there already that they showed last year, and they've now got Trevor Lawrence. But that defense is pretty good, and they have some pretty good stars on that defense, and I think it's going to give the Texans a pretty hard time.
I mean, the Texans just traded away their quarterback 4 days before their game. Yeah. Especially with that, I don't see the Texans even putting up much of a fight against the Jags, who are going to be wanting to start out strong because they are a weaker team, so they'll need the momentum. I've got Jags by 14. And Tim is Jags by 4, so clean sweep across the board. Craig, your next game is a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, my next game is Bills at Steelers. So it's going to hurt me to say some nice stuff about this team, but let's do it. So the Steelers offense should look a whole lot better than it did at the end of last season. Now, I know I had a lot of hate to say about them last season, but bear with me. There's still some issues there, which I'll get into in a second. But Roethlisberger, anyway, should be a lot more fresh and be a lot more solid in this opening game than he finished, obviously didn't win the season, finished, and he's got a good group of playmakers around him there to work with. There's also real potential now in the superstar running back that they've just drafted, Najee Harris. to sort of potentially sort of take over that mantle in the running game and really help their offense out and balance it out a little more. But the passing game should be able to sort of spread it around and still keep things moving while he's finding his feet. The defense, it should once again generate one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. There's no you can't argue that. And all that pressure should generate some big plays and make Josh Allen's night pretty difficult. I don't think it'll be quite the walkover some people are expecting. Steelers are also gonna, I think they're gonna be among the league leaders in takeaways. Like I said, that defense is very good. It's the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers that is going to be the big issue and the big question mark here. I'm sure a lot of Steelers fans are tired of hearing about it and talking about it, but that front five, there's been a lot of reworking done, and it's sort of already shown to be a bit of a problem early on. Buffalo, they won't have the pass rush the Steelers will, but it shouldn't really, should be enough, I reckon, to bother Roethlisberger to be a factor. Pittsburgh, like I said, they force takeaways, but so will Buffalo. That defense it's not too shabby itself. My player to watch in this one, I've gone with Najee Harris. Mike Tomlin has shown in the past that he's not shy in terms of just feeding ball to running backs in all different ways, whether it's just being little dinky passes or just feeding them the ball and letting him go and do his thing. And to be fair to the running back room that they had last season, even though it didn't do particularly great, that O-line really did sort of let them run and really didn't give them much room to play with. Buffalo defensive front, I think it will give up yards on the ground, just to sort of sum this up. But I think the Steelers will sort of try to make a point just pounding away early on. But like I said, they will start moving the ball around. They've got the receivers to do it. But ultimately, Josh Allen will do it again. He'll do what he always does. Second half, after maybe a slow first half, he'll come out with 2 big scoring drives and have a pretty good comeback to win what I think will be a great game. Bills by 4.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Bills by 3.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same as you, Craig. I've got Bills by 4. You're right, be tight, but I think that they've just got enough quality to do it.
Yeah, and that offensive line really is going to be an issue for them. I mean, the Bills' defense have got Josh Allen and Ed Oliver on there, so pretty good pass rushers. And Tim has the Bills by 7, so he's most confident of us. Moving on to my next game, which is the Jets at the Panthers, an exciting matchup for all the family. It is the return of the Darnold. It's a new place, an upgraded offense. Can Sam Darnold lead the Panthers against a team that's a bit unknown right now with Saleh and Zach Wilson as the quarterback? Christian McCaffrey, let's say Carson. Christian McCaffrey is going to be back and likely on a pitch count, so won't be getting fed the ball. They're going to be cautious of him. And interestingly, I was reading something that Matt Rule has kind of changed his offensive philosophy on it, and he no longer wants to use him as a workhorse. He's almost going to use him as like a finisher, which, I mean, tactically speaking, it sounds all right. Like you wear the defense down all game, then you bring out CMC for the second half, and he just gashes people. And I feel like Saquon Barkley used to do that a lot with just his amazing stamina. Adrian Peterson used to do that with his stamina. But I thought it was an interesting note to make. This is going to be against a head coach, Saleh, that his defense in San Francisco, he liked to stop the run, which forces the quarterback to pass and make his own errors. So it's an interesting tactic to take against the Panthers with such a strong running back. My key battle for it is the Jets secondary against the Panthers passing game. Obviously, Sam Darnold we're yet to see if he can really be the guy, but he's got Robbie Anderson, he's got D Moore, and he's got CMC in the backfield. So if he's got a place to do it, the Panthers is a good place to do it. He's got those weapons. Marcus Mays on the Jets defense, he is a decent safety. He'll be leading that secondary and hopefully stopping them, but I do see the Panthers having the advantage against them. That being said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like the Jets I feel like Zach Wilson is going to be really good, and the Panthers are going to stumble a little bit somewhere, and I've got the Jets by 3.
I've gone the other way. I've saw sense. I've gone Panthers by 10. The Jets, I don't know. It's just, is it too much to expect too soon? Like, I'm not saying that team's not eventually going to turn itself around, but is it too early to just expect just right off the bat? Like this Panthers team last season, I understand now, like it's still not great, compared to a lot of teams in the NFL, but I think it was a side that was really underestimated last season. Like Anderson and Moore were two of the best receivers in the NFL in terms of numbers last season. They've got some good players on that team. And I don't know. I think it's enough to sort of. Bridgewater's not a bad QB. I think he's just been in a few situations. And the Jets were quite trash last season. So yeah, I'm siding with the Panthers on this one. Panthers by 10.
Yeah, I'm kind of siding with what I know and what I've seen. It's true. There's a bit of an unknown with the Jets. I'm not too sure what they're going to be like. I agree with you. I think Wilson is going to be a class QB, but I want to see it first. So I'm going to go with the Panthers to win by 5.
And Tim's agreeing with their Panthers by 5. I don't know. I'm gambling on the unknown, like you said. Joe, your next game, Chargers at Washington.
Chargers at Washington. This, for me, is probably one of the most exciting games that is coming from this first week. It really stood out to me. I mean, these are two teams that potentially could have massive years. They're not quite top 4 in their conferences, but they're knocking on the doors. And is this going to be the year where they make that leap? We've got Justin Herbert in year 2, which his first year was fantastic. Is he going to keep going on that trajectory, or is he going to regress? Not too sure. I have a feeling he's just going to keep going and going. And he's got a new head coach in Brandon Staley, and it's his first year. He coached a fantastic defense last year at the Rams, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a very talented Chargers defense. And they've got a lot of players coming back from injury as well this year. I just think the Chargers could be a good side. Washington, they're the reigning NFC East champs, and they've now got Fitzmagic at quarterback, which you never know what you're going to get from him, but it's going to be fun and exciting, and that's all you need. If him and Scary Terry can link up, this could be a very worrying offense to face at times. However, we do know that their defense is their strong point. That, for me, is the matchup that is going to be the most important. Who's going to get the upper hand? Is it going to be Justin Herbert, or is it going to be the Washington defense? Is it going to be that D-line with the pass rushers that they've got all over the pitch? Who's going to come at him, and how's he going to deal with it? Saying all of that, this was a really tough one to call. I actually don't know who I've put. I've put the Washington football team to win this one by 6. I'm not massively confident in that pick, but I think they're at home. I think their defense is very, very strong. And I think Fitzpatrick, he definitely is an upgrade from last year, and that could potentially be the difference maker.
Yeah, I agree with you. It could definitely go that way, but I think it is Fitztragic. Curtis Samuel's currently out, which doesn't help. I know they still got Scary Terry, but the Chargers defense is pretty lethal. Justin Herbert is he's just this wonder kid and quarterback. I just really like him. It's going to be close. Chargers by 1. I think it'll be like 24-23.
I've gone Washington by 4. Chargers last season, I'm going to keep this quick. Chargers last season, really good team. I think they could have had a much better record. They were just really poorly coached, made some stupid mistakes. But I think this season they're going to be a lot better. But Washington, that defense is ridiculous. They do have a lot of weapons on offense. And I know Tim said it a few times, they were QB away from being a Super Bowl team. And like you've just said then, Fitzmagic is an upgrade from what they had. So yeah, I think Washington are just going to take this one, but it's going to be a good game.
Fair. And Tim's more confident in us. Washington by 7.
I'm just saying I'm jumping ship.
Whee!
Chargers. I'm sorry. I'm going with my gut. I can't not go with my gut. I've gone Chargers by 4.
Okay, welcome to the team, Joe. Okay, Craig, your next game is the Vikings at the Bengals.
Yeah, so the Minnesota offense, well, after looking at it a little bit more detail, it's got the potential to still be pretty good. There's still some great talent there on that offense. The Cincinnati defense is still to prove that it can stop someone from consistently moving the ball on them. and it's about to deal with a high-powered Viking attack that do a little bit of everything okay, and they also have Cook, which helps. Losing the tight end there, Smith, really hurts them, but they've still got decent wide receivers there for Kirk Cousins to build on. He did have a 35 touchdown season last season, which isn't shabby for a QB. And like I've just said, they've got Dalvin Cook, who should be able to run over that Bengals front seven without too much difficulty, I would have thought. Whatever happens, the Vikings, they'll likely have to just keep scoring, is how I'm seeing this going, to keep up with Joe Burrow. Because he should be able to just do whatever he wants against that quite questionable Minnesota secondary, which is still not great. Yeah, it was a little bit banged up last season, but it's still not particularly a strong point on that defense. And that's if Burrow still has the same form. That's another big question mark after his injury. To be fair, though, like I said, the Vikings were banged up last season, and the reinforcements are there for them now. It's still going to be a work in progress for them against that passing attack, but you know, Joe Mixon, he should be in for a big year as well, I think, on the ground too. And it starts against the run D that got torn to shreds at the back end of last season. But it's all about the air attack, I think, for the Bengals, and that should be great as long as it gets a good performance from their player to watch. Who for me in this one, it's going to be the 5th overall pick, Jamar Chase, who, you know, apparently catching the ball was a little bit of an issue for this wide receiver who rumored to have quite a few problems in the offseason, which surprised me a little bit, but I don't think it's something particularly to worry about, particularly in the long term either. Listening to the way people are talking about it at the moment, I think I only mentioned it because it seems like there's a little bit more to it than it's just sort of being like a sort of a bad practice or two, but I don't think it's something that he's not going to be able to sort of figure out in the long term. It could just be growing pains. I think he'll be fine, but a big debut would definitely be a great start to what's hopefully going to be a good NFL career. I know I drafted him in our fantasy league. I'm quite high on him. Minnesota, they do have the pass rush to get to Burrow to make his life difficult. And I think after his injury, maybe he could be a little bit more hesitant in that, and it could make him a little bit more scared in terms of just holding out like he used to and being as fearless. But he's got weapons to sort of crank up now on that offense, and it should be quite a back and forth game, I think. But the Vikings, I think they just have a little bit more everywhere else, a little bit more of a complete team than the Bengals, and they've got less question marks there. So I've gone Vikings by 4.
I just like Burrow, and I just want him to tear it up. And maybe I'm being sympathetic to the lowlier teams, but I've got the Bengals. I mean, I am low on the Vikings as well, I'll say that. But I've got the Bengals winning by 3.
They do have Dalvin Cook, and the Bengals run defense.
Yeah, you said Dalvin Cook, and I was like,
shocking.
actually, and then I did swap the Vikings, and I jumped ship, and I'm with the Bengals.
I'm with the Vikings purely because of that. Their offense is still half decent. I'm not massively high on them, but I just think if they do get clicking, they could terrorize that Bengals defense. So yeah, but only slightly. Vikings by 3.
And Tim's got the same, Vikings by 3. Moving on to the next game. This could be game of the week, Browns at Chiefs. In a vacuum, these are probably my top 2 AFC teams. So this is going to be a really fun game to watch. Mahomes has got an entirely new offensive line, and the Browns have upgraded their defense to stop them. Picking a key battle here is really tough, as there's battles all over the field. Browns have picked up Greg Newsome to bolster the secondary from the first round. They've got to deal with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire catching passes out of the backfield. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have added Nick Bolton as a linebacker and Jaron Reed at D tackle to free up Frank Clark on the edge. So that's going to improve their pass rush overall. But they've got to deal with, I love saying it, the chunt. You know, Nick Chubb is just, he's so good, and he's backed up by a very good running back as well. So fear the chunt. On the other side, the Browns have the all-pro Myles Garrett, who's clearly one of the best DNs in the league right now, opposite Jadeveon Clowney, he's had some down years. He was best when he was opposite an all-pro, and he's now opposite an all-pro. So there you go. On that offensive line, like I mentioned, there's 2 rookies on there, and 2 proven studs in Joe Thuney and Orlando Brown, both from your respective teams. Having said that, there's even more to talk about, but I'm not going to go into it. And like Odell's coming back, Baker looks good. I think I've got a soft spot for the Browns, like a lot of us do from their underdog days. And I just think the Browns really are the real deal this year. That their roster is stacked and they've got a good coach now. Browns. Oh, and Tyrann Mathieu not paying, apparently, and that's a pretty big loss for their defense. Browns by 7.
Yeah, I've gone Chiefs by 3. I think that's partly just out of my stubbornness because I picked them to win the Super Bowl. But yeah, I think I don't know. It's a toss-up game. Like it's just two great teams, and I cannot wait to see this game.
Yeah, I really want the Browns to win this. I much prefer the Browns to the Chiefs. But for me, the Chiefs beat them in that playoff game. Not masses, apart from the Chiefs' offensive line has really changed. I think the Chiefs are still a better team, and they're an Arrowhead. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by 6.
Arrowhead's a tough place to go and win.
It is. But Baker's one of those quarterbacks I think doesn't let stuff like that get to him. There's a few of them in the league, like Brady and stuff, but there's some you can see are clearly rattled by playing away. Big Ben's really good at playing away. But I think Baker's just got it.
The thing to take into account now is they've had a season of playing with no fans, and his first game back with fans is going to be in a full Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah,
like that's going to be a shock to the system.
I don't know. I just think they're gonna ride the wave.
I hope so.
And Tim has got the Chiefs by 6 as well, so I'm flying solo on the Browns, which I'll take. Joe, your next game is it's the quarterback swap.
We talking about the Bears and the Lions?
49ers and the Lions.
49ers and the Lions, sorry. Of course. Yes, so this is it really, isn't it? It's Jared Goff, his first game with the Detroit Lions. However, he has got a decent protector in rookie Penei Sewell, who I will be very excited to see play in this game. To be honest with you, their opponents, the 49ers, they're hoping to start fresh after last year's disappointment, purely down to injuries. Jimmy G is going to be starting at quarterback as he has won that battle for the time being. However, he is going to need to perform at his very best, considering he has Trey Lance right on his heels. Jimmy G in the game against the Raiders dived headfirst into the end zone, and I expect to see a lot more of that from him. I think he's going to come in with that he just doesn't care kind of attitude. He's just going to go all out, and you're going to see an effective playoff mode Jimmy G going from game one. The big matchup for me in this one is that 49ers defense against the Lions offense. I just think that it could potentially be a bit brutal. Sewell needs to basically come in and just be the man straight away. He is tipped to be pretty NFL ready, but this is going to be a big show, especially I believe Nick Bosa's back and ready, firing. A big player like that who they massively missed last year it's going to seem like a fresh team, this 49ers squad. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it is quite no offense to Detroit, it's quite a nice easy game for the 49ers to try and get back into the swing of things, and for the Lions and Goff, it's not easy at all. I have got the 49ers winning this one by 10.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. I think the Lions wide receiver group is not good. Running back group is not good. The 49ers have got Kittle and a good defense. I've got the 49ers in about 21. It's going to be just horrendous.
I think the strength of this Lions team is its running backs, but they're going up against a very good defensive line, and a very good defense in general. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it being a bit of a rough one for the Lions. I've got 49ers by 17. Like I was talking on another pod previously, like the one thing I used to like about the Lions is they always used to just be sort of in it and around it. And I think after a lot of thinking about it, I think a huge part of that was just Stafford keeping them in it and his ability to just at any point in the game just throw a bomb downfield and it'll catch it out. Yeah, could be a rough one.
Tim's the reverse of all of us again, and he has gone for the 49ers only by 8. And next game, we've got you, Craig, with the Cardinals and the Titans.
Yeah, so Cards Titans, the Arizona defense looks like it should start a whole lot better this season than it did last season. And on offense, there are weapons there for Kyler Murray to work with and succeed. It's probably the best receiver Cody's had during his career. The pressure should be there, and the run defense got an injection of talent after welcoming JJ Watt to the line, and they've got Zayvon Collins to that linebacker core. He's going to be gunning for Henry in this one. Arizona, they'd love nothing more than to get into a shootout and rely on money, I think, to get this one done. Regardless, the Titans are still going to go and pound away and do their things, and why shouldn't they? Until Arizona proves that they can stop that ground attack. It had a rough time of it late last year. It was highlighted by the hammering that he took from the 49ers. Henry, I think he'll start getting the ball right away from the get-go. Arizona, they're going to want to come out fast. They're going to want to play fast. But Tennessee, they're going to do what they do. They're going to dominate the tempo, and they're going to, I think, really dominate the time of possession in this game, which will put the pressure on the Cardinals, which will sort of could put them in a little bit of a panic. Obviously, the Titans, they're going to just keep handing the ball off to their star running back. They should have more explosion and more balance on offense. However, though, after adding my player to watch in this one, who I'm quite interested to see how he fits in on this offense, Julio Jones, will he be a part of the game plan on game one? I guess we're going to see. He doesn't have to be the number one guy anymore. He likely won't be the number one guy anymore, playing across from AJ Brown. So he'll get a shot of just being an elite number two. Who's just that deep threat and might take the pressure off him a little bit. He's got plenty of chances, I guess, to take over this game. It's pick your poison. Tennessee defense, I think it's gonna need a while to get going. There's some lot of nice new parts there, but secondary is definitely going to struggle with Hopkins and Green. Murray will likely try and spread the ball around, but ultimately I think Henry's going to get rolling, and the Titans are going to control the tempo of this game and take it by 4.
Yeah. Yes. Also, did you hear Larry Fitzgerald's not returning? Apparently, I don't think he's retired, but yeah, apparently he's just
Really?
not. Apparently, he's just kind of out of all of it.
Oh,
which is sad because he's one of the best players in NFL history, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like as a guy,
definitely.
Best pair of hands.
But yeah, like you said, you've got Derek Henry, AJ Brown, and Julio Jones. That is a crazy unfair trio. And like you said, he's a wide receiver too. Julio Jones is still easily a wide receiver one if you like plonked him on the Lions, like if you plonked him on the Falcons. Yeah, I've got the Titans by 12.
Yeah, same here. Titans by 12.
And Tim, like you, Craig, lower down, Titans by 3. Cardinals do have the offensive firepower to win the game, though.
Yeah, definitely. And they've shown that before with the Hail Murray. Like you can't count them out.
And JJ Watt's pretty used to tackling Derek Henry.
Yeah.
On to my next game.
Adam, sorry, 1 second. I just got some breaking news through on my phone.
What?
Not good, Craig. Gus Edwards has just done his ACL and is out for the season.
What? You messing?
I'm not messing with you. You can look at it. I literally got it through from ESPN Fantasy.
We've lost that 1, 2, and 3.
If you type it up, I thought
That is
Scheffler, they fear
heavy.
Oh my God.
Ravens also fear that cornerback Marcus Peters has suffered a torn ACL.
Yeah, both of them.
Bro, welcome to last year.
Okay, so in my predictions where I had us above the Steelers, I think we might want to flip that now.
Wow.
That's
brutal.
Wow. So I didn't want to interrupt, but like we were talking about it earlier, and it's just major news.
It's going to be a rough one, isn't it? It's going to be a rough one.
I think it's just one of those seasons, Craig.
Well, we're finishing third.
That's brutal. I'm sorry about that, Craig. You're about to enjoy a season.
Yeah, I think we're going to drop out now, and the Steelers will replace us.
Well, at least you've got a running back in Lamar.
Funny.
Not what he wants to hear right now.
Less distraction. Lovely talking about the Dolphins-Patriots game. Nice AFC East matchup for Joe. I think this is going to be a really good game. We see Bill and obviously the very highly touted Jones coming out of camp go against Tua, who's he's a question mark. I think like he didn't even get being a captain of his own team. Like I know it's not a big deal, but it's also kind of a big deal when your quarterback's not a captain. And yeah, obviously Bill's ex-assistant Brian Flores. So the O-line advantage lies very heavily in the Patriots' favor. You've got a pretty deadly O-line this year, Joe. That being said, the Dolphins definitely have the advantage on the offensive playmaker side of things, drafting Jalen Waddle in the first round. And Mike Gesicki is also a pretty dang good tight end. So yeah, my key battle here is going to be your Patriots, Joe, because not your Patriots, your wide receivers, because you don't really have any. And the Dolphins secondary is arguably the best secondary in the league. So Mac Jones, he's good. He's accurate. He's consistent what we've seen so far. But he's working with Nelson Aguilar, who's questionable. Yeah. And as Joe calls their deep threat. Jacoby Myers, who had a good practice camp.
Good player.
And Kendrick Bourne, who I don't know. So
Kendrick Bourne's going to be all right. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And these are the names they're going against: Xavier Howard,
is he?
Byron Jones, Jason McCourty. So yeah, it's a very brutal defense to be thrown into on your first week. That being said, I think the Patriots are. I just have a feeling this year is going to be a good year for you guys. Your defense is back up to scratch with all the guys coming back from COVID. You win games in the trenches, in my opinion, and your offensive line is really, really strong. So it's in Foxborough. So I've got Patriots by 6.
Yeah, I'm confident in this one. I really am. I don't know what it is. Mac Jones has got that feel good feeling, I think, going on in Foxborough. It's just one of those. Just got an inkling. Yeah, our wide receivers aren't amazing, but our running game is extremely good, and I think that has been slept on a lot this preseason. I think we've got Harris. You've got White, you've got Ramondre Stevenson there, you've got is it JJ Taylor, who's the little 5'6" bowling ball. Like we've got some, and with that offensive line, I think that we can really try and wear down that Dolphins defense, and I've got us winning by 10.
I think I'm lone wolfing it this week. Fins up. I mean, I don't know. I just think like this is a Dolphins team that it's just stacked with young talent. They've had time to get used to playing together now. That defense was one of the best defenses in the league last season. Most in takeaways. You got so many weapons on it. I don't know. Like, unless you lean heavily on that run game, I can see them just making this Mac Jones' nightmare. Like, it's a tough defense to come out and go up against. And you know, they still have weapons on offense. Yeah, I've got Dolphins taking this one by 4. I think it'll be close.
You are a believer then?
I'm not necessarily a Tua believer, but I believe in that defense more than anything. And
are Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry both playing?
I don't believe Hunter Henry is. I need to double check that. Johnny Smith is, I believe.
Oh, yeah, so I've still got some weapons to play with.
I want to point out I'm a Tua believer.
Wow.
Just to put it out there.
You're a Tunga believer.
It's all right. I got you, Dolphins fans. I got you.
Unlike Tim, who has the Pats taking it by 3. Joe, your final game, Bears at Rams.
Yes. Just a little side note. Sorry, Hunter Henry is fit to play, which is obviously very good. So Bears, Rams, 2 good defenses and 2 new quarterbacks. So it's Andy Dalton versus Matt Stafford. And it'll be interesting to see how good Matt Stafford is in LA and how much pressure Andy Dalton is under. Of course, they drafted Justin Fields with the 11th pick this year. And a lot of people were thinking maybe he might be able to outdo Andy Dalton in the preseason, but nope. They're going with Dalton, which for me, I think is the smart play. I don't think this is a season where the Bears can go and do special things, so they don't need to rush it. Just sort of keep it how it is and build that team up. In my opinion, these 2 teams are going in opposite directions. I think the Rams are getting stronger, and it's pretty much a make or break year for them. they're really going out. They've got like this year and possibly the next to really go for this. Whereas the Bears, I think, are just falling backwards. They got a strong defense, as I mentioned. They got some players on that side, but I don't know. I just can't see them doing too well this year. This is also the first like actual proper NFL regular season game at the SoFi Stadium with fans in. So it's going to be nice to see that place rocking. Of course, they've got the cool little scoreboard that goes around the top. And yeah, I'm just excited to see that place rocking. And of course, this is a Sunday night game, so it's quite a big one. NFL making sure that they open this stadium to the public nice and proper with a bit of a showcase. The matchup for me on this one is just going to be Andy Dalton versus that Rams defense. If Aaron Donald can batter him as much as he's been batting other quarterbacks his whole NFL career. Be interesting how Jalen Ramsey sort of hits the season running. So yeah, for me that's the matchup there that is going to be sort of the deciding factor. If the Rams defense can assert dominance early on, I think the game is going to be very long for Chicago, and it's going to be a long trip home for them. So I have got the Rams to win this game, and I've got them to win by 9.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, their Bears quarterback situation right now is in the air, and they've got to play the Rams defense, which is nasty. I think there's some questions at Rams or wide receiver, but you've got Matt Stafford throwing some, so you're in safe hands.
I think there's questions on both offenses. They've both got strong defenses. I've got Rams by 4. I think the Rams ultimately win out. They've just got the better team.
Yeah, I've got the Rams by 14. I think the Bears offense is really just going to stall on this. And Tim's got the Rams by 8. Craig, your next game is the Packers going to Florida to play the Saints.
Yeah, so it's no secret that I do have a bit of a soft spot for the Packers. I do quite like them, but the more I looked into this game, the more I found myself thinking that the Saints have been getting maybe a rougher time of it than they deserve. So anyway, I'll keep it quick because we're running a little bit long. So a few reasons why I think the Packers are going to win this game. Rodgers is still there. That's one reason. And this isn't technically a home game for New Orleans. With the game being played in Jacksonville, apparently. Rodgers, he still have all of his receivers to work with. The running game, it's still deep, it's still explosive. They've got great running backs there. Question is, will the New Orleans defense be good enough to keep Rodgers from going off? Which potentially I think it could do. It could hold them out, maybe. When I first looked at this, I seen it being quite a big blowout, but after looking into it a little bit more, I sort of toned that down a little bit. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So the Saints, it'll look a lot different without Drew Brees. They've got a questionable group of receivers, and they've also got Michael Thomas out. The Packers D should have a fairly easy night of it, I think, other than dealing with Kamara. Saints defense still has potential to once again be quite strong. It's always been a real strength for that team, and it's more than likely going to have to bail them out of a lot of messes this year all over again. The offensive line is very strong. They do have a great offensive line in there, and I think it will eventually, as the season runs on, give enough time for Jameis Winston to sort of do his thing, and they've proven that they can give Kamara the time and the space he needs to do his thing. It's never really going to be a grinding offense like you might see in Tennessee or a few other places under Sean Payton, but it's not going to ask Winston to just try and win the thing on just constantly throwing bombs downfield. He's going to throw a pick or two, but I think a lot of people sort of question him too much, and this guy's talent, I think, just gets lost over all of the madness that went on beforehand. He is a talented QB, Adam. I know you quite like him. I agree with you. I think as time's gone on, he's sort of grown on me a lot, and I think he has the potential to do very well. So I hope he does come out quite hot. The deal need to stay strong for him, like I've just said. And their player to watch in this game for me is Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to be the real difference maker in this game, whether New Orleans stay in it or not. You can forget about what he did against Minnesota last year. He's not this big rushing machine as some people make out that he is. He's more of a jack of all trades kind of type back. And a lot of that did, I think, rely on Drew Brees throwing him the ball, who obviously isn't there now. And you've got this new QB in. So it's can he keep doing that without Brees there? And how much will Taysom Hill sort of eat into that role, because Taysom Hill already has that sort of jackknife role in that team. I think he's going to be the focus of this offense to begin with in this game and in the beginning of the season. But I think as the season rolls on, you might see them sort of pull away from that as Winston in the passing game sort of starts to come together a little bit and gets a little bit more comfortable. I said this game really has my interest. It's only week 1, but it could potentially be a preview of a big NFC playoff game. If everyone stays healthy on both sides, that is, and Winston really does sort of step up and shine. There is a lot of ifs there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these are going to be NFC Championship game. Missing the true home field advantage, I think, will be a big factor in this because the Saints tend to do well at home. Both defenses, I think, should have a good performance in this one, and I think we should enjoy some decent plays from both quarterbacks. Winston will be fine, but Rodgers will be better. Packers by 10.
Yeah, Rodgers is going to win the game for him. I think they're going to win it by 9.
Yeah, I agree. I'm quite confident in this. However, I've got Packers by 7.
Tim has got the Packers by 4. The least confident he believes in LASIK, Jameis. Okay.
I apologise. I got a bit. I had me jab the other day, and I've got a little bit of a cough since I had it, and it really started to hit me at the back end of that one. I struggled to kind of keep me flow. Sorry.
So my final game, I've got the Denver Broncos going to play the Giants in New York. I mean, as you guys know, I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for the Broncos, not for the Giants. But it's 2 quarterbacks trying to lock themselves in as being viewed as franchise quarterbacks because not right now, neither DJ or Bridgewater feel like a franchise quarterback. Daniel Jones needs to impress, and Teddy's actively got someone behind him ready to take that spot if he fails. The Broncos roster, when you stop looking at the quarterback, is actually really impressive. The O-line has a little bit to be desired, but that defense is really, really rock solid. You look at the secondary, look at the linebackers, look at the line, and you can't really fault it. The Giants, on the other hand, they do carry a strong defense, maybe a little bit less rounded than the Broncos. But they've got arguably more playmakers, on offense. Kenny Golladay coming in from free agency. Saquon Barkley's back from his injury, and Saquon Barkley is one of the most exciting players to watch at the best of times. But there are there are questions on the offensive line. They could be one of the weakest offensive lines in the league right now. I've put here thinner than tissue paper, which is a nice one, Adam. Good job. So key battle here, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb against Andrew Thomas and Matt Peart, who's the other tackle. I put Woof because I was watching a lot of The Office. That whole defense is fierce, but Daniel Jones is going to just have such trouble playing into that defense. Once you get past Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, guess who you're thrown into? You're thrown into Jeffrey, what's his name? Justin Simmons, who's the best safety in the league. You're thrown into Pat Surtain. You're thrown into Kyle Fuller from the Bears. Like, it's a really brutal defense. And for that reason, I think the New York team's still coming back from a couple of injuries and COVID things, and the Broncos are going to go in with a boom. I got the Broncos by 4.
Okay, I've gone Giants by 4. Giants defense is good. Broncos offense is not very good. Broncos defense is quite good, but it's okay. Like, it's decent enough. Giants offense, they've got Saquon Barkley. Like, yeah, that's about it. Much I'm going to say about that. Giants by 4.
I kind of have the same feeling as Craig. I just think, yeah, if it comes to individual class players, I'm just going to take Giants just about. And they're at home. I got a good feeling about the Giants. And Joe Judge, I love his approach to head coaching. So, Giants by 6.
And Tim has got the Giants by 6 as well. Lone Wolf. If I win my ones, I'm going to come out well on top. Craig, your final game, which maybe we want to change our scores to this one.
No, I'm still not going to change my scores on this one, to be honest. I'm going to tell you why Baltimore's going to win, because its defensive front is going to have a fucking field day. Right? Las Vegas, they've tried to build like a tough, hard-nosed team. and with a flash of sort of, downfield threat, which they do have. But that offensive line, you need an offensive line to do that. And that offensive line, it's still building itself up and trying to get itself going and pick up the pieces. But as far as I know from what Tim were telling us and what I've seen, they've had a lot of struggles there. And it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. They're going up against a defense that has one of the best front lines and one of the best run defenses last year, which is going to make Josh Jacobs' life quite difficult, as good as he is. They do have Darren Waller, but at the same time, we do have quite a lot of good DBs back there. Darren Carr is good, but like I said, he's coming up against just a tough defense, and I think that's what the difference maker in this game is going to be. On offense, we've talked about it already. We pretty much have no running backs. We have no running game, and we're a running team. So on offense, I think other than Lamar's likes and maybe Mark Andrews, we don't really have a lot going for us at the moment. But yeah, I think the difference maker in this is just going to be our defense going up against the offensive line.
Yeah, I've pushed mine down a bit, but yeah, like you said, I think your defense will just keep you in the game pretty comfortably.
Our defense can score points, which is
benefit.
I've got Ravens by 10. Sorry,
Ravens by 4.
Yeah, I still believe in the Ravens. I got them to win by 14, and that's with Todd Gurley getting 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Todd Gurley's coming in, is he?
Who else is there left that hasn't got a job?
And Tim's got the Ravens by 5. He predicted the low score. Yeah,
he knew.
And this has been a long episode. We apologize. We'll get over our bold predictions and we will get off. So we'll start off with Tim's, as technically he should be speaking first. He has got Trevor Lawrence to have the highest QBR of the week. That is bold. Although he is against the Texans, it's a good bold prediction. I like it.
Yeah.
Craig, what's yours?
My bold prediction is that there will be 4 or more interceptions in Dolphins Pats, because you're talking about 2 great secondaries, 2 good defenses going up against a rookie QB and a QB who had a bit of a rough time of it. And like I said, it is a very good secondary.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, mine is going against Craig's prediction. I have got there to be no interceptions in the Pats Dolphins game. Both secondaries are great, but you got Mac Jones, who most accurate quarterback in the NFL. He's an accurate quarterback who's not going to be taking any dangerous throws. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe that Tua is going to take a step up. And do I think it's going to happen? It's unlikely, but that's a bold prediction.
Okay, I think I'm a bit Tua Tagovailoa lower on him. But yeah, my bold prediction is Broncos Giants. No team scores over 10 points.
Expecting it to be a blooming.
I expect slow, like
7-3 or something.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be like one team scores 9, one team scores 6 or something.
You're hoping it's snowing, basically.
Nah, bro, trust me. Those defenses are both fierce, queen. But yeah, we'll figure out how many points a bold prediction is for next episode. Let us know what you think.
A bold prediction was 3. It used to be 3 points.
It was 3, yeah.
Right.
If you want to play along with us,
3 points for a win with the correct score, 1 point for a win with no score. Okay. Let the games begin, boys. Good luck.
Yeah, can't wait.
But yeah, let us know how you think we've done. Let us know what your scores are, and we'd like to hear it. You can find all this stuff on our social medias. We have got a giveaways going to be done by tonight. But do you want to give them their social medias, Joe?
Yeah, our Twitter and Instagram is at TAFS_UK. And our Facebook is That American Football Show.
You can get us on our YouTube, which is That American Football Show, on our website, which is thatamericanfootballshow.com. Make sure you check out our friends at Lockdown Lids. They've got some really exciting stuff on there, including
they've got a
hospitality package.
Yeah, it's for I want to say, is it the Dolphins game?
Dolphins Jets, yeah.
Yeah, it's Dolphins Jags, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dolphins Jags, yeah. They've got a hospitality package, so it gives you hotel, tickets, meals, some drinks at the game.
Row 3 behind the Dolphins bench.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, like really, really good seats. Yeah, definitely check that out. Get involved. It's unbelievable for the price of what a ticket is.
Okay. Yeah, please leave us feedback. We'd like to hear what you want to speak about. If there's any good NFL content you want to talk about, Craig's thinking about doing an Am I Crazy, which is always a good bit of fun. But thank you everyone for listening. Apologies for the super long episodes. Make sure you head over and check out our friends at EP Sports for all your NFL and equipment needs, and we will see you next week.